Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our series of authenticity and inclusivity. Today is our last sessions on this series of personality traits, and with the saboteur based on a concept of positive intelligence. And of course, a disclaimer, both Lucy and myself are not the employee of Positive Intelligence LLC, but we are both certified PQ coaches. I'm Aries, your host, and today we're going to talk about the activate power, the 5 power of the sage. And let me welcome Lucy, our EQ and intelligent coach.
Thank you, Aries, for having me. And this is our last session. I cannot believe this. Wow, what an adventure. Hopefully that added some insight or something interesting to all of you that watched or listened to our series. And today is one of the key powers. It's they're saying that the power is not just in the knowledge, but actually applying of that knowledge. So without activate, there is no power or not as much power as it's actually possible for any change to happen.
I love what you say. The power is not just in the knowledge, but in so-called the action. If we simply just have the knowledge, what would that knowledge do for us? Sadly to say, probably not much.
No.
Yeah.
It's like reading a book about exercise and hoping we lose weight by doing.
Yeah. So a lot of us tend to have the tendency to acquire knowledge, to read up, and then do we do anything about it?
That's the thing.
Yeah, too many things. Maybe the easiest example is say, well, I know, if I go and exercise, the gym is good for me. If I eat healthily, it's going to do me a lot of good. And then I read a lot of book about it. And then that's it. Is anything going to change with my physical build? Is there anything going to change with my health? It's not going to make a lot of difference. Without us taking the steps to doing some exercise, without us taking that mindfulness of eating properly, we probably have a lot of knowledge here, but I think the body need the knowledge too in terms of doing
embodying the knowledge literally in a way. Activating through our bodies, not just through the thinking.
Yeah, I thought before we jump into explaining the activate power, we might just do a very quick summary of the sage, and then we talk about the saboteur. So when we're talking about the saboteur, it's all come from so-called our innate personality traits itself, and then that's why what we use here was talking about this personality and how they interact with which of the saboteur, which one will come out stronger based on your personality. But again, what happened will be driven by the situation and environment. They will come more activated. And the sage is about that kind of focus and calm and able to calm down that the hijacker, and then we move into that sage and we can use it better. And we talk about the sage perspective that's in everything that happened to us. If we can tap into the perspective, we can turn it around to seeing the goodness in the situation. And then we talk about how can we turn it around using knowledge, using power, or using inspiration. And we dive in to talk about power because there are 5 aspects to the power. And we talk about empathy power, when you exercise empathy for yourself and others. We talk about exploring, to explore power, innovate power, and last week was navigate power. How do we have that inner wisdom elder self? And the last one, of course, is the activate power. What does this activate power? And a couple of things just pop straight into my head. Maybe there's a restless, can't wait to get started. Which is, if you remember, we talked about each of that saboteur. One of them that, which is of course very related personally to me, is the restless. So restless is about, this is interesting, let's get to doing, and then we do that, and then we do that, and then we do that, right? So it seems that I have super activate power. And well, since I have a super activated power, that means I in my sage house. Does that kind of come together? So Lucy, you want to jump on and give some wisdom on that?
I'm also having my restless messing with me a lot. In terms of, oh, this is idea, I should do this, I should do that. So there's it's I would say the distinction, being busy doesn't mean being effective or productive. So the restless may keep us busy doing different things, but A, it could be exhausting and overwhelming, and B, actually might be busy doing things that really are not that important or the most important things. And C, we could still procrastinate on those important things.
Yeah, thank you for summarizing restless. I see a lot of personality in terms of restless, as in, I think people, I would say, people who are more extroversion have more of that. It's more seen in that than people who are more introvert, because they're able to quiet down a little bit. Extroversion tend to, maybe there's a bit of spectrum as well, that you can see people who are talking very fast, they need to be doing lots of things all the time. But why are we seeing that even though that's the case, we think that is activate power, but that's not really activate, because what are you actually working on may not be what is really important. You simply think that, oh, I'm just doing something that's great, and then you just keep on doing, but you might not want to do those that is really important, because it might be a difficult task. It might be something that is unpleasant, because restless is one of the saboteur, but we normally have a few in us, and depends what's the situation. So and I think one of the things that come out quite strongly for me is about consistency. I think restless saboteur have no consistency. That means what happens? That is interesting. Let me do that.
It's boring. Consistency is boring for the restless, I would say. It's like, let's not do, let's switch. There's something more interesting or more important.
Yeah, definitely. Consistency is not in their dictionary, I would say. But
Taboo word.
Power is actually a form of consistency as well, in a sense, to understand that jumping onto one and then jumping to another is not really doing me good ultimately. And we're talking about, when you talk about this activate power, is able to stay on track and do something and getting a result out of that. So this is in terms of activate power for the restless. And so what other is coming up very strongly for you, Lucy?
I would say avoider. That probably has, connected to the procrastination habit that a lot of us are struggling with in one way or another. And messing with the consistency, right? Also. So around the activate, to really, I think there's, like we talked about last time and many times before, like the power of taking a pause and reflecting, and in a way preempting the sabotage. Because what's standing in the way of taking consistent and meaningful action? Often these are the saboteurs. If we don't take the circumstances and outside influences, what could be the inner blocks or inner sabotage? It's from the saboteurs. And each of the saboteurs is messing with us in a different way. And definitely the avoider comes to mind when speaking about avoiding action. It's kind of has it in the name.
Actually, what comes to mind was there are a couple of conversations that I've been having with some clients. I thought it was quite interesting. I'm not sure whether this is really avoider, but it's, how to say, sometimes if there's a very daunting task or something that we are just find it's very difficult to do, and we will kind of keep putting it off. And I have this is the recent conversation. I mean, before there's some other, there was a client that was she has been working in one company for many years, for like more than 10, okay, less than 20 years, right? So because she's been in the company for so long, she's so used to the environment. And she basically told me, actually, I don't have a CV. I was like, she said, well, I do have one, but it's internal. So you cannot use the internal, you have to. So I said, and then she said, you know what? I just can't get started. I was like, okay. So it's like you have all those, I know it's because I'm in this situation, empathy power, but so I know I've been in there, I haven't done it yet, I need to, so, but it's just, I just can't do it. It's like, I'm just like, okay, so what can we do when we tap into this empathy power to help them to kind of step forth? That's what I'm trying to say. Using this example, maybe that would be useful to understand that when we say activate power, and when you have a situation that you're really struggling to kind of get started, I find that the first point is always the hardest. Once you get through that line, you're kind of able to move on. But it's that first step is always the hardest. It's like, I'm so scared. I haven't done it before. What if I screw up?
So what do we do then? Well, one of the ways is identifying what kind of saboteur is bringing up that fear and these worries. So it could be even hypervigilant. I need to have a plan. I need to plan for A, B, C, D, up all the way up to Z before I take action. So if that's the saboteur that we know that is messing with us a lot. So it could be with the resume. So what kind of saboteur would you say your client is struggling with in that situation?
I haven't thought about the saboteur exactly, but I think that one thing that came to mind was maybe the hyper rational. I don't have this information, right? But how am I going to put this? These are all the data. Would this be too much information, internal information? I cannot just pop it over. And then what am I going to do? So it's about worrying what I'm going to put. When you say vigilant, the rational also kind of come in as well.
Oh yeah, they have fun together, and the judge possibly judging all the ideas, suggestions. They're having party. The word, analysis paralysis comes to mind. So knowing that can happen to us, how do we preempt this? How do we call out the lies of the saboteurs? So that could be maybe the lie is you don't have enough information, you don't know how to get started. That the saboteur could say.
That's a good one. Yeah. So the judge said, oh, you're not good enough. You can't do that. Rational said, you don't get enough data. You can't do that. The rational said, the vigilant said, oh my God, this is so stressful. What if you got it wrong? Then what will happen? And it's like, okay, so just not moving. So how does the activate power can kind of come in and say, well, the thing is that if you're not going to get started, then where will you be? Yeah, and maybe one other case is what is the worst case if you get started? I mean, this is one example. Maybe you can think of another example. Honestly, what is the worst case if you can get started?
Yeah, that's a great strategy. Looking at what is the worst case scenario? What is it that you're really afraid of looking at? And then there could be another strategy. So we could even use the innovate power to help us with activate power. So what would be another way? It could be what is the best case scenario? So instead of using our mind, not just saying, all the worst case scenarios, but what could be the best case scenarios? What could really go really well?
Actually, another thing that came to mind was this tiny habits. During when we were doing it, we were talking a lot. There's a lot of relation between the whole PQ concept and tiny habits. It's about building the habits, celebrating it, and understanding the trigger. So you see, when we are avoiding something, not just as avoider, saboteur, whichever one you are, it could be the restless, the vigilance, hyper rational. We're basically not acting on it. And why? Because there's a lot of fear and worry, and that's it, right? But because the task could be daunting, could be too big, what about starting from, what is the easiest first point that you can start off? And then people are like, oh yeah, I can start doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's stopping you? Nothing. Yeah. I mean,
Doing baby steps.
Yeah.
And part of the big part of the activate is kind of the prepare power, in a way, preparation. And one of the aspects of the preparation is really looking at what could get in a way, just asking ourselves questions. What could get in a way of me starting? Yesterday, I had a conversation with a client who wants to start networking. And she's mentioned, I work with somebody else, and it seems like quarter after quarter on my reviews, I keep saying I want to network more and nothing is happening. And what she realized yesterday was actually she didn't ask herself what's standing in the way. And she realized what was standing in the way as I asked the question yesterday. She mentioned, well, I actually never prepared for it. I don't know what to say. That's one of the things. I have no idea what to talk about. And so actually now she's on roll. She's kind of activated on, okay, I'm gonna pick 3 people and think about what I could ask them, or what we have in common. What could we talk about? And have 1, 2, 3 ideas, and just starting brainstorming that way.
Yeah.
So maybe part of that could be asking ourselves what could get in a way.
Yeah. It's kind of preparation, breaking it out into smaller pieces.
Yes,
it's more
just like you said, yeah.
achievable and less daunting. And
Yeah.
also understanding like what is, you see, when we don't think about it, it's kind of back of my mind, but there could be things that's blocking it. But when we understand what is that blocking, we can kind of able to take step to remove the block. Yeah.
So, what just came up for me is, as you've mentioned before, what I loved, take a step back so you can move forward. So really, instead of push, when we notice that we keep pushing and things are not happening, or we are getting exhausted, maybe that's really the time to step back and to pause and see what's getting in the way. What is it making it so hard for me? And see what could be different. It could be even different, like a different reframe of some activities. There's one activity in energy optimization, let's say exercise. And one of the strategies is how could we shift how we look at this activity. So let's say example, part of our job, let's say doing bookkeeping. Or in a hospital, there's the example we use, somebody who's cleaning in the hospital. So they can look at it, oh my God, this is a job just to get me by and to survive. This is my survival job, basically. I have to do this because I cannot do anything else right now. I need the money. And they might be hating every second of it when they're cleaning up, versus somebody who is doing exactly the same job, but they're looking at it, well, I am really helping these people by doing this, making sure that they have clean sheets, clean environment, so they can really heal. And maybe if I smile at them and I say something nice to them, I make a difference for them, for people who are suffering. I can make their life and day better. And they can actually enjoy, even when they're still doing the cleaning up, they can actually see a different purpose in that activity. What's coming up for you when you hear that as a strategy in a way?
What I'm hearing is reframing. A lot of time when we look at the situation, we kind of look at it in a certain lens or perspective. When we kind of look at it in another angle, that reframe, then things become possible. The impossible become possible. Like what you say, 2 person go to doing the same thing, but one person can do it like one person can be like doing it with a heart and joy. Why? And because of their thought process, one is saying, oh, I just do this because I need the money. So they just do it. They'll probably just do the bad in mind. I just need to do it. But another person will be really like, when I'm doing it, I'm actually doing to help other people. They can have a better environment, and they take pride in their job. And when they take pride in their job, you naturally come in with the more of the passions. So it's about, I don't know, can extend to also the why of what you're doing. I think in all of us, there is a why of what we are doing, but sometimes we don't really know why. We just thought that, oh, I need to do this, I need to do it. But what do you do it? Don't know. I mean, sometimes certain client, I keep asking them, so what makes you want to do it? And then they will look at me, and then they will stare at me. I was like, and then they give me an answer. I say, okay, good. They give me an answer. And I say, okay, so what makes that so important? And then they were like, God. And then they were like, and then I was like, and then they come up with the answer. And then as they go on, we ask a lot about that. So what is so important for you wanting to do that is to really knowing that important to you. And then if you can find that is a reason that you want to do, you will kind of come back from the fallen track and back into the consistency. That's
Absolutely.
how I think. I think it's the, what's the word? Understanding your why.
Absolutely. You know, what came for me, sometimes people say, oh, I'm just lazy. Or maybe they just didn't connect to their why enough, to that why that really matters. They didn't go deeply enough. And it takes energy, as you mentioned, you know, the clients like, ugh, I have clients, Lucy, you make me think a lot. So it takes energy to really look and uncover the layers of why we really do that. But exactly that and connecting to that purpose can give us the energy that we need to actually take that action. Let's say even in a weight loss, let's say if we talked about professional, let's say networking and other scenarios, weight loss could be even like a personal, we touched on it before, exercise. I had a client maybe 2 years ago. She was saying, Lucy, I really want to lose weight, but I'm not consistent. I always drop off. And so we explored what is really the why. It's not just about looking good, which she thought, you know, feeling better. But then we dig it a little bit deeper. And she said, well, you know, because I want to live long enough to stay here for my kids to see them getting married. And when she connected to that, that year she lost like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
She was able to stay connected and move.
Yeah. I think that's the power of why, which a lot of us didn't really understand. And sometimes when we ask them about so-called the why and what's so important for you to wanting to do that, and then they realize that actually it's not so important. Okay, if it's not important, maybe you don't want to do that like
exactly.
the rest, right? Then don't do that and do something else, because that is also your activation power, the ability to drop one thing and do it. Because I think our current era, there's just so much thing getting our attention, but do we need to do them all? And what is really important to you? Is it to do everything? And are you able to do everything in 24 hours? I think I've seen some people, well, myself included, is kind of trying to do it all. And then when they can't do it all, they get really depressed, get really upset with themselves. They beat themselves up. Why can't I just do it? Why do I have to get time? I'm just so busy. I'm so overwhelmed. But they forgot about that. Sometimes in life, it's not about doing it all. It's about understanding what you want to be doing. And I think a lot of time is we try to do it all. It's because our environment say, well, we need to be multitasking. We need to do this and we need to do this. And it's not about doing for ourselves, but sometimes we're doing more for other people. So
yeah. So really the power of connecting, what is our why? Is the why really my why? Is it because, or is it somebody else's why?
Yeah. I think it's easy to look outside and say, yeah, I need to do this, I need to do that. And why am I not doing it? Why am I procrastinating on it and not taking action? Or why am I doing all this? Why am I, not focusing on one? Why can't I stay consistent to one? I do like to do it, but I don't know why I'm not doing it. Yeah, we've seen a lot of those. But it's about, like what you say, slow down and pause and understand and go inside and find out that, is this something that I still want to do? If it's what I still want to do, then what's stopping me? Yeah. And then let's start with, if this is really what I want, let's start with the easiest thing to get started off, to kind of go through that line, break that line, and then we can get started. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, there's one other strategy that comes up for me.
Mhm.
Actually, I right before our call, I had a session with somebody, and he brought up procrastination. It was our second session. He said, "Yeah, you know, and there's something that I've been struggling my whole life basically with, and that's the procrastination." And so we looked at, so what does it give you? Because everything is something that we do for some reason, right? So what is the good stuff that it gives you? And what he identified is, one, in a way, it's a defense mechanism, because when he does things the last moment, then if things don't go well, then he can say, well, it's not because I'm a failure, it's because I didn't have enough time to complete that. So in a way, he always wins. He either wins and he says, you know, I'm so good because I got completed within like this short time frame. Or he said, if he doesn't do a good job, well, it is because I didn't have enough time. That's why I failed. So it kind of protects the self-worth.
Mhm.
And the second aspect of it, it's also like the adrenaline rush, right? It's like an adventure. It makes it fun. So it's satisfying. It's something different. It's providing variety. It's not boring when we do it last minute. However, there are also the costs. The quality suffers often, the stress, the sleepless nights when he's pulling all-nighters. So health is being impacted. So he realized, you know, this is not the strategy I want to continue. I want to find something different. So one of the new strategies, how can you create something so you still get the need for fun met? What would be something? So he created a strategy. I gamify it a little bit. So kind of compete with himself, create like a mini steps, as we've talked about before, and kind of do a competition with himself, how he can do it. So kind of even adding the fun. If procrastination is caused because it seems boring, how could you make the process more fun? Could be one of the strategies.
Yeah, I love this one. Again, it's about willing to take the step to go a bit deeper and understand what is that holding you back to do what you think you want to do. When you say what does that procrastination give you, remind me of a conversation. This is quite a few years ago. I have this similar conversation. Somebody said that she's supposed to do this, and then she just came back and she's not doing it, and then she just taking a rest and not doing anything. So I said, what does that give you? I said, oh, after I rested, I have the energy and then I can do it. I was like, okay. So basically she think that when she was not doing anything and resting, she was procrastinating. But actually the rest was what her body needed, because only when she has rested, she's able to carry on and plan and think about what to do. So a lot of time we tend to look at behavior. So the activate is behavior. But when you are not doing it, or when you are, especially you're avoiding, you are procrastinating, you're not doing, there is something holding you behind. Understand what is that. Then it's easier to kind of act on it. But if it's simply about fear, then what is that fear? And look at what is achievable, what is the first easiest step that you can keep you going, like tiny steps, and then you move from that, and then you build upon that. And I like to say, to celebrate each of the success. And it's very powerful when you celebrate that each step that you take, because you succeeded, your mind, your brain remember, and it helps you to build on that. Well, we have another minute. So Lucy, you want to any wrap up on today, or and then before we close this?
Well, you mentioned celebration, so I'm kind of trained to celebrate with the winning bell now. I'm gonna ring the bell for completing our sessions here. Share my gratitude for you and for all of you that participated and asked us questions, or watched or paused and reflected. I want to appreciate you for the time and energy that you give yourself and to your growth. And as always, I would like to share an invitation, maybe to pause, reflect, and what would be something you would like to celebrate? As you mentioned, it's important not just to do, but also pause and celebrate. So either pause and celebrate, or end, pause and ask yourself, what is really an action that you would like to take and what could get in the way? That's my takeaway. Aries?
Yeah, I'm just putting that. I want to say thank you for
Thank
your
you.
live or the replay, but I love what you said about either the pause and yeah, the strategy. I think we talk a lot, quite a different strategy that we have. Definitely one thing is that pause, understanding the doing tiny steps, understanding the why, reframing, and then celebrating. Yeah, and then what will you want to celebrate for yourself today? And then we're going to wrap up, and thank you for being with us. And hopefully that audio session that we run, you have some tiny takeaway, and whatever that's holding you back from doing what you want to do, please, as you hear today's session and watch today's sessions, that will encourage you to take that one small step.
Thank you.
And anything else before we say bye?
Well, wishing you lots of love, joy, success. And if you have any questions, always share it under the video. We'll keep checking and we'll do our best to answer.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.